Hey there, Unsolved Mysteries fans. Wayward Legacy back at you with another video. So I was talking to Namzoodle on Twitter, and he suggested this case for me to do, and possibly for him to do as well. He'll probably do a response video to it, I would imagine. So I look forward to that. So this case is the case of Amelia Earhart. Now I remember kind of back in grade 10 history class, kind of briefly learning about her, like who she was and what she did and all that, and that she ended up disappearing. But we didn't touch too much on it really. It was just a brief kind of lesson on her. So there's a lot that I don't know about her, and there's a lot that I don't know about this case. So as usual, I have the article of Unsolved Mystery on Unsolved Mysteries wiki up here, and it's a pretty lengthy article. But I'm gonna go through it because some of you may not know who she is or what she did, or or anything like that. So I'm gonna go through that, and there's also quite a few theories on her disappearance as well. So I'm just gonna jump right into it right now. So Amelia Earhart was a female aviation celebrity of the 1930s. She was the first woman pilot to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. She received the U.S. Distinguished Flying Cross for this record. She set many other records, wrote best-selling books about her flying experiences, and was instrumental in the formation of the Organization for Female Pilots. Earhart joined the faculty of an aviation department in 1935 as a visiting faculty member to counsel women on careers and help inspire others with her love for aviation. In 1937, accompanied by flight navigator Fred Noonan, she was attempting an around-the-world flight. Had she succeeded, she would have become the first woman to circumnavigate the world by aeroplane. At 10:22 a.m. on the 1st of July, Earhart and Noonan departed from La Nugina for Howland Island, which was 4,113 kilometers away. It was the last time they would be seen alive. The last known position of their plane was near the Nukamanu Islands, 1,300 kilometers into flight. The U.S. Coast Guard were set up to communicate via radio, but were not successful. Problems are believed to have been lack of knowledge of this new technology and not putting the half-hour time difference into consideration when scheduling. Hours later, on the morning of July 2nd, Earhart's transmissions could be heard, but it appeared that the messages sent to their aircraft were not being received. As time went on, transmissions from Earhart became more and more garbled and soon became hard to decipher. The strength of transmissions received indicated that Earhart and Noonan were in the vicinity of Howland Island, but could not find it after numerous more attempts. It appeared the connection had dropped. The last transmission received from Earhart indicated that she and Noonan were flying along a line of position, which is taken from a sun line running on 150 to 337 degrees, which Noonan would have calculated and drawn on a chart as passing through Howland. Only 1 hour after the transmission was received, the search for them began. The U.S. Coast Guard and Navy both searched the surrounding waters of Howland Island and neighboring Gardner Island. The official search ended 17 days later after $4 million had been spent on search resources. At this point in time, it was the largest, most expensive, most publicized search to date, but no trace of Amelia or Fred was ever found. On January 5th, 1939, Earhart was declared legally dead. Okay, now we got a few different theories on here about the disappearance. Alright, so during the 1980s, some researchers who examined the disappearance were convinced by unsubstantiated accounts that Amelia and Fred veered off course by 2,000 miles and landed on an island of Sapane, where they were captured and executed by the Japanese Navy. Witnesses placed Amelia's plane in custody of military officials in the area, and the execution of 2 American pilots by the Japanese. One U.S. Army soldier claims to have seen Amelia's plane on Sapane during World War II, just 7 years after she disappeared. He claimed the Army destroyed her plane later that night. On the same island, another soldier claims he found a bag full of documents that were owned by Amelia, like her passport. He turned the documents over to his commanding officer, and the documents, like Amelia, were never seen again. One Saipan native who was still living in the 1990s said she watched Amelia get executed by a firing squad. However, these alleged events are almost certainly a pakara. Furthermore, Saipan lies hundreds of miles west of Earhart's known flight path, making it doubtful she landed there. Today, many searchers believe that Electra ran out of fuel. I think that's a typo there. Yeah, that Earhart ran out of fuel somewhere near Howland Island, and that Earhart and Noonan ditched at sea. The researchers who support the crash and sink theory say that the Pacific Ocean is the largest ocean in the world, with many hundreds of and thousands of miles separating dots of dry land. They also say that the waters of the Pacific are so deep that finding the aircraft would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. However, Howland was by no means the only island within the range, and the aircraft appeared to have enough fuel to reach an alternate destination. Furthermore, it is also believed that if the aircraft was ditched at sea, it should have been able to float until discovered in numerous searches of the ocean floor by new underwater technology have failed to find the aircraft. Now, I would read this whole thing, but it would take a while here, because there's quite a lot of information on it. So I'll just skim through it here and just kind of just talk about one thing here. So apparently in 1940, a British colonial officer and licensed pilot radioed his superiors, informing that he found a female skeleton along with a sextant box under a tree at a makeshift campsite in the island's southeast corner. The skeleton had roughly the same proportions as Amelia Earhart, but the bones and box are currently missing. The colony on Nicamaranu, I think, was abandoned in a severe drought in 1963, and the remains went AWOL with it. Scientists have been unable to determine the identity of the skeleton conclusively, as modern tests cannot be run without the remains. So yeah, there's just like a lot of this is like a pretty big article, I should say. And I'll if you want to check it out, I'll post it in the description. I would read through it. It would just take a while, and I'm kind of tripping over my words and stuff, trying to read it as quickly as I can here. So yeah, I'll kind of give you the results, and then I'll give you what I think of my theories. So obviously, it's still unsolved. The crash and sink theory is more widely believed by people, but the Gardner Island theory has a much more confirmed explanation. Work is ongoing, but reliant on donations. Evidence to support the information about the Japanese survey ship Kosho having gone to Gardner Island to rescue Amelia Earhart includes the following. A direct quote from the New York Times, July 7, 1937, says, "The Japanese Navy 2,080-ton survey ship Kosho, Captain Hanjiro Takagi, commanding, which is cruising in the area around Howland Island, was ordered yesterday to search for Amelia. The orders to Kosho were radioed to after Ishiri Sato, ambassador to Washington, had reported that the U.S. government had accepted an offer to Japanese assistance. Admiral Mr. Yanni, the Navy Minister, immediately transmitted instructions to Japanese commanders in Formosa and the mandated islands. The Kosho's log, according to Susan Butler's book, East to the Dawn, says the Kosho headed south out of Japan into the U.S. waters, fully aware of where they were. Now there's kind of a update on where the plane may have been. So in October 2014, the piece of aluminum mentioned above was shown by precision photograph processes, with accuracy comparable to a fingerprint to be that object mentioned. If that is correct, it changes the possible sources of Amelia's disappearance and would totally eliminate the crash and sink theory. It would also disprove crash in the Marshall Islands theory. It would prove that the Kosho was on Nicaragua for a while, but was then taken to Jolt Island with Amelia and Fred on board, and with the electric attached to its stern. That is why the search pilots never saw them or the plane. They did see some kind of markers, probably supports used to load electric. At Jolt, Fred was treated by Balam and Amaran. They were then, starting on July 19th, taken to Spain and locked in Garapan jail as spies. They did not crash in the Marshalls, but were taken there, arriving at Jolt Island Navy Base on July 13th, 10 days after they went missing. They were never in two places at the same time, a statement which had been used to claim that all the numerous incidents about Amelia in the Marshall Islands and Spain were false. The information referenced in Earhart and Noonan, The Missing Link, by Dwayne Hamblin. So yeah, you know, there's a few different theories and whatnot in this article, so, you know, if you want to check it out or whatever, I'll post it. I'll post the link in the description, you can check that out. And, yeah, you know, my theory would be, you know, I got a couple different theories that I can agree with. You know, I can agree with the crash and sink theory, you know, even though this piece of aluminum reportedly discounts that theory, but, you know, it's not like that it necessarily been proved, at least not that I can see here. Yeah, it's believed to be a piece of her plane, but it's not, that hasn't been proven, so it's quite possible that the crash and sink theory is actually a thing, and that's what happened. That's one of the theories that I believe happened, is, you know, what happened is, you know, they got to whatever destination they were going to, or they were close to it, and then, like, because of equipment problems or engine problems or whatever, the plane went down and they crashed, and then, you know, eventually sunk down. And then, you know, the reason why researchers may not have found them is because, you know, maybe it sunk all the way to the bottom of the ocean, and then, I don't know, over time it may have been covered with, you know, maybe dirt or seaweed or whatever's in the bottom of the ocean. So it could have been covered with all that, and maybe that's why researchers didn't find it. Now, I could also lean towards the Japanese capturing them and putting them in jail theory as well. So yeah, they could have captured them and then took them back to, you know, wherever they were going to, and then, you know, locked them up and then eventually killed them and stripped their plane for parts and destroyed it, and that's why they were never found and the plane were never found. So, you know, I could lead to that as well. Those are my two theories, you know, that I think could have happened. It could have went either one of those theories. If Nam's Noodle does make a video to this, I'll be interested to see his theories on it and what he thinks happened, because he probably knows a lot more about it than about Amelia Earhart's disappearance than I do, you know, because he suggested it to me to do. So, but yeah, like I said, you know, I'll post the article in the description, and, you know, it's a pretty lengthy article, so you can skim through it and check it out. I'll have another video on it probably right after this one, so look out for that. If you like this video, give a like, subscribe, comment in the comment section. Give me your theories on what happened, and, you know, I'll comment back to you, I'll subscribe back to you, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that right now. So I'll see you in the next one. Wayward out.